Hi friends, welcome to Educate 247. So we are continuing our series on Word Power Made Easy by Norman Lewis. So we have actually completed the three sessions already. So if you haven't watched them yet, I request you to click the link in the description. So those sessions will actually give you a better clarity to session 4. And if you are new to our channel, I request you to click on the subscribe button to actually get acquainted with our MBA related content on our Educate 247 channel. So, in today's video, I'll be covering the session 4 for the Word Power Made Easy, where we'll actually be talking about the doctors and their specific medical fields. So, let's begin. So first I have the root words which are going to be discussed in this, means the words going to be discussed in this session are actually going to be related to these root words. So first is obstetrics, which means midwifery. So it's basically related to delivery of pregnant women. Next is pedios, which means child. The derma means skin. Optal means eye. Ortho means straight. Cardio means heart. Neuro means nervous system. Psych means mind. Gyne means woman. So this is already discussed in session 1 as well as session 3. Next is internus, which means inside. So now let's look at the words which are going to be discussed. So we are going to discuss the meaning for these 10 words. So these are basically the doctors' names for their specific fields. So let's begin. So the first we have is the internist. So internist it's based on internus. So it's basically going to be inside. So let's look at the meaning. A medical specialist in internal diseases will be termed as an internist. Next is gynecologist. So gynecologist we have already discussed in previous session also. So it's gyne means woman and logy means study. So this is basically the meaning for gynecology. So a physician or a surgeon qualified to practice in gynecology, which is the woman's diseases basically. Next is the obstetrician, which we discussed in the root words. The obstetrics is related to delivery of pregnant women. So it's basically a physician or a surgeon qualified to practice in obstetrics, which is delivery of pregnant women. Next we have is the pediatrician. So it's basically based on the pedios. So pedios is the root word here. So which means basically relating to a child. So a medical practitioner specializing in children and their diseases will be termed as a pediatrician. Next is the dermatologist. So we have derma, which means skin. So now who will be a dermatologist? So medical practitioner qualified to treat the skin disorders. Next is the ophthalmologist. So opthal was basically relating to eye. So ophthalmologist will basically be a specialist in branch of medicine concerned with the study and treatment of disorders and disease of eye. Next we have is the orthopedist. So ortho was straight, or it's basically relating to skeleton, I could say. So the orthopedist is a branch of medicine that deals with prevention and correction or disorders of the skeletal system. So that is orthopedics basically. So the professional who actually studying this is basically known as the orthopedist. Next is the cardiologist. So cardio is basically based on heart. So a cardiologist is a doctor who specializes in the study or treatment of heart diseases and heart abnormalities. Next we have is the neurologist. So neuro means related to nervous system. So a neurologist is basically a specialist in anatomy, functions and organic disorders of nerves and the nervous system. The final word we have is psychiatrist. So it was basically on the root word psychic, which was mind. So psychiatrist is basically a medical practitioner specializing in diagnosis of this treatment of mental illness. So these are the words and their meanings. So actually now we could straight away move to our exercises. So our first exercise is going to be a match the column where we have the 10 fields and the doctors relating to it. So let's begin. So you could actually pause video and try it on your own and then see the solutions. So I'll start now. So the first one is the mental or the emotional disturbances. So someone who treats mental or emotional means basically relating to mind. So he's going to be a psychiatrist. Next we have is nervous system. So nervous system was neuro. So it's going to be a neurologist. Third one is skin. So derma. So it's going to be a dermatologist. Next is going to be internal organs, means internus, which means an internist. Next we have is the infant, which means child, which means pedios. So it's going to be a pediatrician. Next we have is the female reproductive organs. So it's going to be based on the gyn. So it's gynecologist. Next we have is eyes. So eyes is opthal, which means ophthalmologist. So it's going to be 7. Next is heart. So heart was cardio. So it's going to be cardiologist. Next was pregnancy and childbirth. So you could actually get confused in this too, but pregnancy and childbirth is basically obstetrics. So it's going to be obstetrician. Next we have a skeletal system, which means ortho. It's going to be orthopedics. So this was our first exercise, match the column. Now we'll have our second exercise, which is basically you have to answer in yes or no if you understand the words. So first is an internist an expert in diagnosis? So diagnosis is what? Diagnosis is basically study of internal disorders. So that's basically the job of internist. So I'll say yes. Next we have is a gynecologist familiar with female organs? So yes, it's his job. Next, does an obstetrician specialize in disease of childhood? So it was basically childhood is pediatrician. So I'll say no. Obstetrician was basically, if you see, the one who does the delivery of pregnant child and not the disease of the childhood. So I'll say no. Does pediatrician deliver babies? Again, it's going to be no. So it's basically, if you see, it's interchanged. If you had skin disease, would you like to visit a dermatologist? So derma is skin, dermatologist, yes. Next we have is, if you had trouble with your vision, would you visit an orthopedist? So vision is opthal and not ortho. So I'll say no. Is ophthalmologist is eye specialist? So yes, he is an eye specialist. Next, does cardiologist treat bone fractures? No. It's basically relating to cardio, which is heart disease. So no. Is neurologist a nerve specialist? Yes. If you were nervous, tense, over anxious, constantly fearful for no apparent reasons, would a psychiatrist be specialist to see? Definitely. So I'll just mark it yes. So I hope you have understood the words discussed in today's session, and also the exercises were clear to you. If you have any doubts, you can just post it in our comment section. So if you have enjoyed our today's session, I'll request you to click the like button and also share this video with your friends. And that's all for today. Thank you and have a nice day.